this room, small, focused, intentional. If we had advertised a miracle service, you would not find a seat. Crowds love spectacles. Leaders choose training. Jesus fed the multitude, but he didn't trust them. He taught them, yes, but he trained the 12. He invested in 3. Why? Because destiny is transferred in small rooms where people decide to change. My real love is people like you who believe that this is for you. You didn't come for entertainment, you came for equipment. So welcome to a different kind of night. Write this down. Leadership is 80% mentality, 20% skill. Don't argue with me yet. By the time we're done, you will argue with your limits instead. The difference between the person who changes history and the one who just watches news is a belief system. Proverbs 23:7 says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Not in his head, his heart. The heart is your subconscious, your autopilot, your internal government. You don't do what you know, you do what you believe. So tonight, we touch the government, we reset the heart, because everything that follows in this entire series hinges on one belief shift that will multiply your leadership. Say it with me. This session is for my leadership, not my comfort. Louder. Your mind needs to hear your mouth. This session is for my leadership, not my comfort. Good. Comfort is the enemy of calling. Calling requires construction. Construction is noisy, messy, and inconvenient. But when it's finished, you walk into rooms you used to watch on television. You are not an accident. You are an assignment. And assignments require attitude. Here is the thesis, plain and sharp. A single belief shift, seeing yourself as a dominion design leader whose attitude governs outcomes, transforms obstacles into objectives. Like the lion, your belief turns giants into lunch. Don't worry, we will unpack that lion later. For now, take the knife of this statement and cut your excuses with it. Be not conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Romans 12:2. Conformity is crowds. Transformation is small rooms. The Spirit changes your spirit. In a moment, you change your mind over a lifetime. But there's one night where the gear changes and you never drive the same again. Tonight is that gear. Why do we begin with one belief? Because one belief governs 1,000 behaviors. One belief sets the speed limit on your destiny. You can fill your head with techniques, strategies, and leadership hacks, but if the governor on your heart is set to average, you will sabotage excellence every time it tries to visit your life. Some of you have read more books than your boss, watched more videos than your professor, taken more notes than your pastor, and yet you're parked. Not because you lack knowledge, but because your belief won't turn the key. Write this down. Your belief is your ignition. No ignition, no motion, no leadership. Genesis 1:26 is not a religious verse, it's a manufacturer's reveal. Let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion. That is not a suggestion, that is a specification. You were not built for subjection, you were designed for dominion. But dominion begins in the mind before it manifests in management. If you don't see yourself in the image, you will keep asking others for permission to be what God already authorized. That's why crowds crave miracles. They want someone else to do what their belief refuses to attempt. Leaders come to be trained because they heard their manufacturer whisper, there is more inside, and they say, teach me how to turn it on. I was a young man once living in a house where the roof counted raindrops and the floor counted roaches. I had no money, no connections, no titles, but I met a sentence, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. I wrote it on a crumpled paper and taped it to a cracked mirror. Every morning I stared at a boy with no resources and confessed a man with dominion. Something shifted. Not around me, within me. Opportunities did not find me first. Attitude did. And attitude went to work as my bodyguard, escorting me into rooms where skill alone would have been turned away. Write this down. Attitude is the prophet of your future. It announces you before you arrive. Say it with me. This session is for my leadership, not my comfort. Don't mumble destiny. Declare it. Some of you feel a little resistance in your chest right now. That's your old belief protesting eviction. It has paid low rent for years, squatting in the penthouse of your heart, telling you that you are a follower, that you need approval to begin, that you must wait until you feel ready. Hear me, readiness is a lie. We tell fear to avoid obedience. Gideon was called mighty man of valor while he was hiding in a wine press. God never describes you by your activity. He describes you by your assignment. You are not an accident. You are an assignment. So here is the invitation. For the next minutes, suspend your defense of who you have been. Put your tired resume on the floor. Fire your excuses. In the small room, the governor of your heart is about to be recalled and replaced. We will not chase applause. We will pursue alignment. When belief aligns with original design, leadership emerges without permission. Fruit does not beg for followers. Fruit attracts hunger. Jesus said, by their fruit you shall know them. Not by titles, not by crowds, not by live stream views, by fruit. And fruit grows from seed. Tonight, I place a seed in your soil. You are a dominion design leader whose attitude governs outcomes. Write this down. One belief, well placed, is worth 1,000 prayers misdirected. I believe in prayer. I live by it. But prayer is not a substitute for programming. If you pray for change and keep your old belief, you will sabotage your own answer. God will send opportunity. Your belief will label it too big. God will send allies. Your belief will call them intimidating. God will send an idea. Your belief will say, not me, not after tonight. There will be a collision in your heart between what you used to tolerate and what you are now authorized to become. And when the dust settles, a leader will be standing. Now, lift your head, square your shoulders, say it again. This session is for my leadership, not my comfort. Good. Everything that follows from this moment, every story, every scripture, every strategy will hang on this one hook. If you change this belief, you change your ceiling. If you change your ceiling, you change your outcomes. If you change your outcomes, you change your influence. And if you change your influence, you change the world assigned to your gift. Welcome to the small room where big shifts begin. Let's do the work. Before we teach techniques, we must recover template. Before we assign duties, we must announce design. Write this down. You are not an accident. You are an assignment. Assignments come with specifications. The manufacturer never releases a product without a manual. And the first page of your manual is not a list of rules. It is a revelation of image. Let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion. Genesis 1:26. Notice the order: image, then dominion, likeness, then leadership, design, revealed before directives. The Hebrew idea for mankind is not male. It is species, Adam, Ish, the class of beings stamped with the nature of their source. And the word for dominion, rad, means to rule, to govern, to manage resources according to the will of the king. Say it with me. I was made in his image to exercise dominion. Religion reverses this. Religion gives you duties before it gives you design, and then wonders why you are exhausted. You cannot behave consistently beyond how you believe about yourself. That's why Proverbs says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Your life will always move in the direction of your identity. Write this down. Purpose precedes position. Dominion precedes duty. Adam did not receive a job description before he received an image. God spoke to himself, not to the dust, when he made you. That means your value is not in your vessel, it's in your version. You are a God-class idea expressed in earth-class material. Now listen close. I am not talking about dominion over people. That's where dictators are born, and why religion gets nervous when leaders start talking about power. Read your manual again. Let them have dominion over the fish, over the birds, over all the earth. You will not find over another human in that list. God never gave man dominion over man. He gave you dominion over your gift, your environment, your resources, your assignment. Leadership is not controlling people. Leadership is controlling yourself to serve people with your gift. Proverbs 16:32 declares, he that ruleth his spirit is better than he that taketh a city. Self-government is the first proof of dominion. Write this down. True leadership is self-discovery. You will never become a true leader until you are introduced to yourself, not the self shaped by culture, school rankings, job titles, or the opinions of your relatives. The self that was whispered in eternity. God said to Jeremiah, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart and appointed you. Jeremiah 1-5. Appointment preceded appearance. That's why you sometimes feel a holy discontent in places that others applaud. Your assignment is calling your identity to attention. Let me press you. Why are you here on earth? Not what do you do? What were you sent to solve? Your job is what they pay you to do. Your work is what you were born to do. Your work carries your dominion domain. One of you was made to dominate numbers until economies become honest. Another was made to dominate sound until nations weep and heal. Some of you were designed to dominate code, to make invisible logic serve human dignity. Others to dominate soil, turning dust into harvest. One to dominate sickness with the gift of medicine. Another to dominate confusion with the gift of governance. Leadership is not a chair, it is a charge. It is you taking responsibility for the environment of your assignment so that the king's will is done on earth as it is in heaven. Write this down. Image authorizes leadership. Likeness licenses dominion. When God stamped you with himself, he installed in you the right to rule in your realm. Psalm 8 backs this up. What is man that you are mindful of him? You have crowned him with glory and honor. You have made him to have dominion over the works of your hands. You have put all things under his feet, crowned before commission, glory before government. This is why inferiority is illegal for you. False humility is rebellion dressed as reverence. To deny your dominion is to insult your design. It is not pride to accept what the manufacturer printed on your label. Say this out loud. My image is my authority. My likeness is my license. My gift is my domain. Good. Your environment is waiting for you to remember who you are. Creation is groaning not for another celebrity, but for sons and daughters who know their image and therefore govern their space. The lion is called king of the jungle, not because of size, but because of attitude born of identity. We'll come to that for now. Understand, identity is not a pep talk, it is a program. The heart is your operating system. If the OS is corrupted by inferior beliefs, the applications of skill will crash under pressure. Let's correct something else. Titles are decorations, image is design. If they strip your title, your image remains. If they fire you, your gift goes with you. Write this down. Leadership is measured by fruit, not position. Jesus said, by their fruit you shall know them. Not by their robes, not by their mic, not by their office. Fruit is the environment conforming to your assignment. When Adam named, the environment responded. When you operate in image, creation recognizes management and yields. This is why chaos keeps resisting you. It does not recognize you yet. Introduce yourself properly. Some of you have been negotiating with environments you were born to govern. Negotiation is what image-starved people do. They ask permission where God gave a mandate. Be fruitful, multiply, replenish, subdue, and have dominion. Genesis 1:28. Subdue means bring under order. Not people, systems, resources, problems. Your city needs order. Your company needs order. Your family needs order. Start with you. Rule your appetite. Govern your emotions. Master your mornings. Only then can you be trusted with markets. If you cannot lead you, why would heaven entrust you with them? Say it with me. You are not an accident. You are an assignment. And assignments include areas. Stop envying someone else's area. Jealousy is ignorance of design. If you knew your blueprint, you would celebrate theirs and get busy with yours. Write this down. Design determines desire. Desire reveals destiny. The passion you can't shake is a clue to the problem you are packaged to solve. Do not suppress it to fit in with a crowd that fears dominion. Jesus didn't chase crowds. He trained a core because he understood design before directives. He could say, I must be about my Father's business, because he knew his image and his assignment. I came tonight to give you permission to stop apologizing for being exactly what the King intended. Ephesians 2:10 says, we are his workmanship, created in Christ Jesus for good works, which God prepared beforehand that we should walk in them. Prepared beforehand means the path exists. Leadership emerges when you align with your original design of dominion. Not when you get a promotion, not when someone calls you boss. When you embrace image, govern yourself, and deploy your gift to order your environment, leadership appears without asking. Write this down. When design is honored, destiny accelerates. Lift your head again. Square your shoulders. Whisper to your own heart. Meet yourself. The you who was stamped with image, licensed with likeness, and authorized for dominion. The rest of this journey will not work unless this foundation is set. No more living beneath your specification. No more begging from what you were built to govern. Say it with me. I accept my image. I embrace my likeness. I exercise dominion in my domain. That is not hype. That is alignment. And alignment is the birthplace of leadership. Now let's go under the hood. The problem is not the road. The problem is not the weather. The problem is a small device hidden in your dashboard called a governor. Write this down. Your belief, not your eyes or your environment, is the true speed governor on your life. You can polish the car, change the tires, fill the tank, even pray in tongues over the steering wheel, but if the internal governor is set to 80, you will never see 81. That governor is your belief system. And until you confront it, you will misdiagnose your delays as traffic when in fact your heart is tapping the brakes. Let me map the mind for you so you don't fight the wrong battle. Your conscious mind is your mouth. It talks a lot. It takes notes. It says amen. It repeats me when I say with me, but your heart is your hard drive. Proverbs 23:7, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Not as a man thinks in his head. The Hebrew word for heart there is lev, your inner center, your subconscious governor. Your head can say, I am bold, while your heart whispers, I am unworthy, and you will behave like the whisper, not the declaration. Jesus confirmed it in Luke 6:45. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. Your mouth is a speaker. The heart is the playlist. And Proverbs 4:23 orders us, guard your heart, for out of it flow the issues of life, not the issues of church, life. Contracts, marriages, auditions, interviews, courage. Think of the heart like the autopilot on a plane. The pilot can grab the yoke and force a climb for a few seconds. But if autopilot is set to 10,000 feet, it will quietly, persistently, respectfully return that plane to the programmed altitude. That is why some of you have spurts of faith on Sunday morning and return to fear by Wednesday afternoon. You pull the yoke in service, but your autopilot is still set to average. Write this down. You will always return to the altitude of your heart. If your internal picture of yourself is grasshopper, you can shout giant killer for an hour and still hide when you get home. So how does the governor get set? Here is the philosophy formula. Write it like a blueprint. Belief produces values. Values inform decisions. Decisions initiate actions. Actions repeated become habits. Habits shape character. Character determines destiny. Read it with me. Belief, values, decisions, actions, habits, character, destiny. One more time. Belief is first because everything else is downstream. You don't have a habit problem, you have a belief problem. You don't have a decision problem, you have a value problem flowing from a belief problem. That's why the scripture doesn't begin with as a man acts. It begins with, as a man thinketh in his heart. Leadership is not a title. Leadership is a belief system expressing itself through consistent behavior. Write this down. Your belief system determines your leadership capacity long before any skill. Let me prove it with Israel. 12 men saw the same land, the same grapes, the same walls, the same giants. 10 returned with this sentence, Numbers 13:33. We were in our own sight as grasshoppers, and so we were in their sight. Listen carefully. They did not first say they saw us as grasshoppers. They said we saw ourselves as grasshoppers. Identity preceded opposition. Perception preceded warfare. Their eyes reported size. Their heart decided identity. Two men, Joshua and Caleb, looked at the same data and said, we are well able to overcome it. Numbers 13:30. Same facts, different governor. 40 years of wandering was not geography, it was psychology. Deliverance from Egypt took one night. Getting Egypt out of their heart took a generation. You ain't free yet, we're just delivered. Freedom is when your heart agrees with your manufacturer. Some of you blame the giant, the economy, the boss, the lack of a degree, the neighborhood. Hear me with love. Those are roads and weather, important but not decisive. The decisive element is the setting in your heart. A truck with a 500 horsepower engine can be stuck behind a 7.5 mph governor. You feel the potential vibrating under your feet. You press the pedal, the engine screams, and the governor smiles and says, no further. You take another course, add another certificate, buy another planner, and still no further. Why? The governor, say it with me, my belief is my governor. Again, my belief is my governor. What did I say? My belief is my governor. Let me get uncomfortably practical. If your heart believes I don't deserve to be in that room, you will unconsciously sabotage invitations. You will arrive late, underprepare, over-apologize, or speak timidly and then call it humility. That's not humility. That's self-rejection disguised as spirituality. If your heart believes money is evil, you will repel provision while praying for resources. The Bible doesn't say money is evil. It says the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. 1 Timothy 6:10. Belief error, value distortion, decision dysfunction, destiny detour. Write this down. Wrong belief converts right opportunities into perceived threats. So here is the piercing question I want rattling in your bones tonight. If your belief is wrong, how many right opportunities look like threats? How many mentors felt intimidating when they were actually invitations? How many ideas felt too big when they were your inheritance? How many platforms did you call premature when heaven called them prepared? How many times did you say, I'm praying about it, when the truth was, my governor is afraid of speed? This is why some of you keep asking God for confirmation, because unbelief needs more signs than faith requires. Gideon needed fleeces because his heart was wet with fear. Now, I am not attacking your eyes. Your eyes are gifts. They collect information. But write this down. Your eyes report. Your heart decides. Eyes are thermometers. They read the room. The heart is a thermostat. It sets the room. The eyes said to Peter, that's a storm. The heart decided whether Jesus' word come was greater than the wind. When his heart shifted back to earth's report, he sank. Jesus didn't rebuke the waves. He rebuked the belief. Oh, you of little faith. Matthew 14:31. Environment is loud. Belief is law. So how do we begin to raise the set point? We will build practices later, but we start with awareness and decree. You must confront the playlist. You must replace files on the hard drive. Stop renting your subconscious to the old landlord. Say this with me, slowly, like you are engraving it. I am made in the image of God for dominion. My belief aligns with my design. My heart agrees with heaven. My governor is lifted. Good. Your mouth informs your mind, and your mind trains your heart. That's why God told Joshua, this book of the law shall not depart out of your mouth, but you shall meditate day and night, then you will make your way prosperous. Joshua 1-8. Mouth, mind, heart, way. I have sat in rooms far beyond the budget of my childhood. They didn't change me first. I changed before I walked in. The meeting only revealed my setting. They pay me now for what my heart decided decades ago while I was staring at a cracked mirror. I altered the governor. My environment had to submit. Write this down. Before life respects you publicly, your heart must authorize you privately. So lift your head, check your dashboard. Don't curse the highway. Adjust the hidden switch. Because when the governor moves, the same road feels different, the same hills become training, and the same giants look strangely edible. But I'm getting ahead of myself. For now, answer the question with brutal honesty. If your belief is wrong, how many right opportunities look like threats? And make a decision tonight to reprogram the only machine you truly drive, your heart. I promise you we would come to the lion. Let's go to the savannah together. It's late afternoon. The sun is laying gold on the grass. A herd of elephants moves toward the water hole. Massive, muscled, majestic, 7 tons of memory and momentum. The earth feels it. Across the brush, a pride crouches low. The lion is not the biggest animal there. He is not the fastest. He does not have the longest tusks or the thickest skin. But he stands up, throws his mane back, and roars. The elephant lifts his head, flaps his ears, then he turns and runs. Write this down. Eyes report size, belief decides behavior. The lion's eyes see an elephant, but his belief says lunch. The elephant's eyes see a lion, but his belief says eater, and he becomes a refugee in his own jungle. What is the difference? Attitude. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Not as he looks, not as he weighs, not as he is measured by a committee, so he believes. The lion is not larger than the buffalo, stronger than the rhino, or taller than the giraffe, yet he eats them all. Why? He believes he is king. The elephant is bigger, stronger, smarter in memory, but he surrenders because his belief says predator. Write this down. The weakest leader with the right belief outruns the strongest follower with the wrong one. This is not biology, this is beliefology. Your heart is your governor. Your attitude is your crown. Scripture agrees. Israel stood before a land flowing with milk and honey, and the spies returned saying, we were like grasshoppers in our own sight, and so we were in theirs. Numbers 13:33. Did you hear it? In our sight. Their belief turned promise into prison. 2 men, Joshua and Caleb, saw the same giants, the same cities, the same walls, but said, we are well able. Same eyes, different belief, different outcome. David walked into a valley and heard a 9-foot soldier blaspheme the living God. Israel's army saw an unbeatable fighter. David saw an uncircumcised Philistine, no covenant, no covering, just a tall target. He said, this day the Lord will deliver you into my hand. And by sundown, the giant was dinner for the birds, and David was carrying a head like a trophy receipt. Your eyes see a giant. Your belief decides if it's your meal or your master. Say it with me. My eyes report size. My belief decides lunch. Louder. Your fear needs to hear your faith. My eyes report size. My belief decides lunch. Good. This is the core revelation. Adopt the lion's belief and your obstacles downgrade to objectives. You don't deny the facts, you redefine their function. Industry giants become case studies for your gift. Gatekeepers become proof that there is a gate, which proves there's a territory with your name on it. Budgets become menus. What can we create with what we have? A deadline becomes a lifeline for discipline. Write this down. Belief doesn't shrink reality. It assigns it to purpose. Let me make it practical. Your elephant might be a Fortune 500 competitor in your sector. Stop calling it too big. Call it lunch. It is a buffet of gaps your gift was designed to fill. Another elephant, a gatekeeper who won't return emails. Stop calling them blockers. Call them confirmers. Their resistance confirms that your path has gates and your domain has borders. There are no gatekeepers in the wilderness. Another elephant, a budget that looks like a drought. Stop reading numbers as final. Read them as an instruction. Innovate. Jesus took 2 fish and 5 loaves, gave thanks, broke them, and fed a multitude because his belief saw provision where the disciples saw scarcity. Your belief multiplies what fear would hoard. Write this down. Your obstacle is an objective misnamed. The assignment of leadership is renaming reality according to purpose. Adam expressed leadership by naming. You express leadership by renaming that department that resists your initiative. It is an exercise for your diplomacy. That market that has always been this way, it is a syllabus for your creativity. That supervisor who misreads your confidence as arrogance, they are the mirror that trains your humility without erasing your boldness. Your eyes see an elephant, your belief says lunch. And don't you dare say, but doctor, I'm not a lion, I'm just a small. Stop. That is the language of the elephant with a crown in storage. Gideon said, I am the least. God answered, go in this your might. Judges 6, what might? The belief shift happening in a wine press. Your job title may be entry level. Your age may be young or seasoned. Your bank account may be whispering later. Leadership says now. The weakest leader with the right belief will lap the strongest follower with the wrong one, because belief predicts behavior and behavior compounds into results. Write this down. Belief is destiny's accelerator. Let me press you until your old ceiling creaks. What have you been bowing to that you were assigned to eat? Is it a credential? Who told you a piece of paper could authorize what God stamped into your spirit? Study, yes, show yourself approved. But paper is a receipt. Belief is a license. Is it culture? This is how we do it here. That is exactly what the elephant tells himself as he backs away from lunch. Culture is a speed limit painted by people who fear your highway. We are heading to the Autobahn later, but for now, start by adjusting your attitude. Say it. I lead like a lion. I downgrade obstacles to objectives. I turn giants into lunch. Remember, Jesus did not marvel at size. He marveled at faith. He told a centurion, I have not found such great faith in Israel. Faith is a belief system that sees authority structures and functions inside them. The centurion said, I am a man under authority. I say to one, go, and he goes. That's lion talk. Authority recognized becomes authority exercised. You carry the image and likeness of the king. When you step into your assignment, the environment recognizes management and yields. Creation groans for that sound. Roar. Now, for this week, I want you to make a list. Write it down tonight before you sleep of your 3 elephants. The industry giant intimidating you, the gatekeeper ignoring you, the budget limiting you. Next to each one, write the objective your gift will accomplish through it. For the giant competitor, define the niche they neglect and design a prototype solution. For the gatekeeper, compose value that makes their no irrelevant solve a problem so well they must call you. For the budget, architect a lean experiment and invite partners to taste fruit, not promises. Leaders seal belief with behavior. Behavior edits reality, and reality becomes testimony. Say it with me. My belief turns giants into lunch. Lead like a lion. Again, my belief turns giants into lunch. Lead like a lion. One more time for the layers of your heart. My belief turns giants into lunch. Lead like a lion. The jungle is not impressed by your volume. It is moved by your conviction. The elephant is waiting on your attitude. Your world is waiting on your roar. Let's go to the highway, I promise you. Years ago, I was in Germany, and a friend said, drive. I got on a road that looked like every other highway I had ever seen. White lines, guardrails, trees flying by. But then something strange happened. The signs stopped telling me how fast I could go. No 60, no 80, no 120, just road. My foot hesitated. My thighs started to shake. Cars swept past me like eagles. And my brain, trained by years of posted limits, whispered, this is wrong. Write this down. The posted signs trained your nervous system, not your engine. I pressed to 120. The car purred 140. The chassis settled 160. The wind changed its voice 170. And suddenly I realized there was life after 170. Capacity I had never met introduced itself. The same car, the same driver, a different country ceiling. I am not advocating recklessness or lawlessness. I am teaching you about cultural speed limits. Religion has speed limits. Family traditions have speed limits. Your industry, your department, your neighborhood, the friends you call realistic, they all carry little white rectangles that say, this is how fast we do faith here. This is how far we forgive. This is how high you price. This is how bold you speak. This is how long you wait. Those signs trained your nerves, not your nature. Write this down. Your environment educated your reactions, but your manufacturer designed your engine. Romans 12:2 says, be not conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Conform means squeezed into a mold. You have been driving at the speed of the mold. Deliverance is leaving Egypt. Freedom is getting Egypt out of your mind. Israel crossed the sea in a night, but they circled a mountain for years because the desert still owned their belief. Deuteronomy 2-3, you have compassed this mountain long enough, turn northward. That's a driving instruction. Some of you keep lapping the same argument, the same price point, the same timid conversations, the same safe proposals because an old sign still blinks in your subconscious. Don't go there. Galatians 5:1 commands, stand fast, therefore, in the liberty wherewith Christ has made us free, and be not entangled again. Again, it is possible to be redeemed and still respect a limit that God never wrote. Write this down. Limits you respect without examination become laws in your heart. You didn't vote on them, you inherited them. And because you never questioned them, they became holy in your psychology. So an opportunity invites you to accelerate, your nervous system accuses you of sin. Leaders, hear me. Many of your checks in the spirit are actually checks by culture. Don't violate righteousness. Don't compromise wisdom. But do crucify inherited ceilings. Jesus healed on the Sabbath and offended those whose speed limit was tradition. He said the Sabbath was made for man, not man for the Sabbath. Mark 2:27. Translation, the sign serves the traveler. The traveler doesn't worship the sign. On that Autobahn, I discovered something else. My engine had been bored by my old roads. It came alive where limits were lifted. Write this down. When you challenge inherited limits, you meet the leader your engine always contained. Ephesians 3:20 says, he is able to do exceeding abundantly above all that we ask or think, according to the power that works in us. Not the power that works around us, in us. The ceiling outside bowed to the power inside once my foot agreed. Agreement is leadership. Say it with me. There's life after 170. Again, there is life after 170. One more time. For the files in your heart, there is life after 170. Now, make it yours. There is life after my limit. Good. Some of you felt your thigh shake just saying that. That's your nervous system, trained by signs, not by scripture. So here is your exercise. Write this down right now. Identify one social, religious, or professional speed limit you will test this week. Just one. Make it concrete. If your industry says never contact the decision maker directly, schedule a respectful, value-packed call to decision maker within 72 hours. If religion told you don't speak unless spoken to, prepare a 2-minute solution and present it at the next meeting. If family trained you, we don't charge that much. Raise your price to reflect your value for a pilot client and deliver fruit that justifies it. If you have always waited for permission to start, publish the first installment of your solution in the next 48 hours, an article, a prototype, a case study, a workshop invite. If your speed limit has been fear of ask for the budget, the seat, the timeline, the partnership. You are not being arrogant. You are testing a sign. Now, structure the test like a responsible leader. Set the date and time. Define the measurable action. Decide what above 170 looks like, what number, what meeting, what deliverable. Notify an accountability partner. And when your nerves start preaching old sermons, preach back with the word. Be not conformed. Stand fast in liberty. You have compassed this mountain long enough. And if your heart argues, remind it that we are not violating righteousness. We are violating resignation. Write this down. Once you taste life beyond the limit, you will never respect that sign the same way again. The mountain becomes a memory. The ceiling becomes a floor. The giant becomes lunch. That's why this matters. Your city is waiting on the version of you that drives as designed. Your children are watching for the day you stop bowing to the sign. Your team needs permission to accelerate. Say it with me. My engine is designed by God. My mind is renewed by truth. My limits are examined, not worship. I drive my assignment at heaven's speed. There is life after 170. Good. Adjust your seat. Check your mirrors, not for permission, for alignment, because the next stretch of road will not change your car, it will reveal it. And when you hear the old sign, whisper, smile, and accelerate, for you have finally met the leader your engine always contained. Write this down. Leadership is born when toleration ends. Say it again so your heart hears it. Leadership is born when toleration ends. Birth begins with a contraction. It is pain with purpose. It is refusal in your bones. Tonight is that contraction. Your refusal to tolerate the unacceptable is the push that brings your leadership into the light. Not another book, not another conference, not another year of I'm working on it. The baby won't arrive until a decision says no more. Look at history through the right lens and you will see the same pattern. The people we call change agents were not always the most resourced. They were the least tolerant of dysfunction. Nehemiah did not have a throne. He had a tear and a plan. He heard the walls were broken. He wept and then he moved. You see the trouble we are in? He said, come, let us rebuild. Nehemiah 2:17. Rosa Parks was not the wealthiest woman on that bus. She was the most intolerant of an unjust seat. Moses saw an Egyptian beating a Hebrew, and something in him refused the arrangement. Later, God would ask him, why cry to me? Tell the children of Israel to go forward. Exodus 14:15. Write this down. Heaven will not do for you what is already assigned to you. James says faith without works is dead. James 2:17. Stop outsourcing to heaven what demands your hands. Whatever you tolerate, you will never change. Say it with me. Whatever I tolerate, I will never change. Apply it everywhere in the workplace. If you tolerate unclear standards, late deliverables, and meetings that solve nothing, you teach your environment to disrespect your assignment. In the family, if you tolerate dishonor, chaos in schedules, and the erosion of meal times, you forfeit culture to convenience. In the community, if you tolerate potholes, failing schools, and leaders without vision, you have agreed to live beneath your collective image. In yourself, if you tolerate private compromises, chronic excuses, poorly managed mornings, and a diet that drugs your clarity, you are training your life to bow when it should build. Write this down. Toleration is the graveyard of leaders. This is not about anger without aim. It is about holy discontent aligned with dominion. Be angry and do not sin. Ephesians 4:26. We're not talking about control over people. We are talking about control over you, over standards, over systems, over habits, over what you will permit in your domain. The lion's roar does not oppress the zebra. It announces territory. Your roar is your standard. Your standard is your refusal. Leaders are custodians of standards. Let me get uncomfortably specific, because deliverance without deployment is deception. From prayer to participation. Many of you have been praying for what obedience would solve. You have been fasting for what a phone call would fix. You have been prophesying over what a calendar could cure. God asked Joshua a piercing question. How long will you wait before you begin to take possession of the land the Lord has given you? Joshua 18:3. Waiting becomes disobedience when the instruction is clear. Write this down. Delay is a polite word for toleration. So we pivot. Say it out loud. My tolerance for the unacceptable ends tonight. Again, my tolerance for the unacceptable ends tonight. Louder. Because fear is stubborn. My tolerance for the unacceptable ends tonight. Good. Now we move our mouth to our hands. Here is your activation sequence. First, define the unacceptable. Write a no more list before you sleep. 3 lines under 4 headings. Work, family, community, self. Under each, write one thing you will no longer permit. Examples. No more meetings without an agenda and a decision. No more devices at dinner. We restore table talk. No more complaining about the school without attending the next board meeting. No more snooze button. I meet my morning before my phone. Leaders are specific. Second, translate prayer into a plan. If you prayed about it this month, schedule an action within 72 hours. Book the meeting, draft the email with standards and timelines, sign up to mentor, enroll in the course that upgrades your competence, build the prototype with what you have, not what you hope. Jesus told the man with the withered hand, stretch forth your hand. Mark 3-5, that was participation. Stretch the part you hide. Third, establish non-negotiables and communicate them with honor. Standards without communication are booby traps. Tell your team, we start on time. We end with decisions. We send minutes within 24 hours. Tell your children, we speak with respect in this house. Tell yourself, I do not break appointments with my future. Proverbs 16:32 says, rule in your spirit is greater than taking a city. Self-government first. Dominion begins at home base. Fourth, curate your inputs. Toleration grows in environments saturated with excuses. Replace complaint companions with construction partners. Replace entertainment that anesthetizes with content that activates. Joshua was commanded to keep the word in his mouth day and night because mouths train minds and minds train hearts. Joshua 1-8. If you keep ingesting, it's fine. You will keep accepting average. Write this down. What you feed your heart becomes what your heart permits. Fifth, act publicly enough to burn the boats. Announce your standard to people who will hold you to it. Nehemiah didn't just survey by night. He said to the people, you see the trouble, come, let us rebuild. Public decree creates public accountability. That is why baptism is public. It is why covenants are spoken. Your leadership is not private courage only. It is visible conviction applied to real problems. Let me warn you with love. The moment you raise your standard, resistance will test your sincerity. Do not pray it away. Use it to confirm your direction. Gatekeepers will push back. Giants will growl. Budgets will glare. That is fine. You are not the most resourced yet, but you are the least tolerant now. And that is the birthplace of leadership. David's brothers called him proud. Goliath called him boy. Saul called him untrained. David called Goliath uncircumcised, misaligned with covenant, and ended the toleration in a valley. Say it with me one more time. Leadership is born when toleration ends. My tolerance for the unacceptable ends tonight. The contraction has begun. This is not hype. This is a line in the sand. Cross it. Send the message before midnight. Set the alarm before you sleep. Put the meeting on the calendar. Throw away what weakens your will. Enroll. Unsubscribe. Apologize where you must. Forgive where you should. And then set the standard you will keep. Because when you refuse to tolerate the unacceptable, your lion stands up inside you, your belief roars, and your world makes room for the leader you have always been. Now that your foot has learned to press, we must talk about what this engine was built to carry your work. Write this down. Your job is what they pay you to do. Your work is what you were born to do. Your job is an assignment from men. Your work is an assignment from God. Your job can be eliminated by a memo. Your work was spoken before you were in your mother's womb. Jeremiah 1-5, before I formed you in the belly, I knew you. Before you came forth, I sanctified you and ordained you. Your job is temporary. Your work is eternal in purpose. You retire from your job, you cannot retire from your work. Employment versus deployment. Let me separate them so cleanly that you will never confuse them again. Employment is when they rent your energy to build their vision. Deployment is when you release your gift to fulfill your assignment. Titles are rented, gifts are owned. Write it down. If they fire you, your gift goes with you. Security does not sit in your salary. Security sits in your seed. Proverbs 18:16 says, a man's gift makes room for him and brings him before great men. It does not say your resume makes room. It does not say your business card makes room. It says your gift, say it with me, my gift makes room again. My gift makes room. Leadership is measured by fruit, not by position. Jesus said in Matthew 7:16, by their fruits you will know them. He did not say by their followers, by their likes, by their seats at the head table. Fruit is value you deliver that others can eat. Write this down. If no one can eat from you, stop calling yourself a leader. A mango tree does not shout, follow me. It produces. Birds arrive. Children climb. Shade gathers. Provision attracts. Leaders don't seek followers. Followers are attracted to leaders because of fruit. Your city is not waiting on your job title. It is hungry for your fruit. Let scripture walk this down your spine. Joseph lost his coat, lost his position, lost his freedom, but never lost his gift. Whether in Potiphar's house or in prison, his administration and interpretation produced fruit, and fruit attracted authority. They didn't promote his outfit, they promoted his output. Daniel's gift of wisdom and interpretation carried him through kings like stations on a train, Nebuchadnezzar, Belshazzar, Darius, because gifts are portable governments. David's job was shepherd. His work was king. He played a harp. He wrote songs. He killed a giant, but his fruit testified long before Samuel's oil flowed. You can be in a pasture with a job description and still be carrying an anointing for nations. If they fire you, your gift goes with you. Write this down. True security is discovering, developing, and deploying your gift in service to others. That is why 1 Peter 4:10 says, as every man has received the gift, even so minister the same one to another as good stewards of the manifold grace of God. Steward what you were given. And Paul told Timothy, stir up the gift of God which is in you. 2 Timothy 1-6. Stir, not apply. Deploy, not wait. This is critical because some of you are guarding a paycheck while starving a planet. Your employer should be a client of your gift, not the warden of your destiny. How do you locate this gift? I will give you the diagnostic that delivered me. Write this down and answer it tonight. What do you do effortlessly that others find difficult? What do you do repeatedly without boredom? What do you do that when you finish, people say, thank you, that helped me, not that was impressive? What problem do you notice first and feel responsible to solve? What topics pull you like a magnet and you study them without being paid or pushed? What do people keep asking you to do? And you are surprised that they can't do it? Your gift lives where ease meets excellence for others' benefit. Romans 12:6 says, having then gifts differing according to the grace that is given to us, let us use them. Use them. If your so-called gift only benefits your ego, that is not a gift, that is a hobby. Gifts are for service. Write this down. A gift is a God-given ability that benefits others on demand. Now, let me confront a religious virus. Some of you have equated humility with hiding. That is not humility. That is unbelief dressed in a choir robe. Jesus said, neither do men light a candle and put it under a bushel, but on a candlestick, and it gives light unto all. Matthew 5:15. Hiding your light is disobedience. Deploy your gift. Don't be abrasive, be available. Don't be proud, be present. Don't be loud, be valuable. Say it with me, I deploy, I don't just employ. Again, deployment outruns employment. Here is the functional law of leadership. Write it down like a covenant. Discover your gift, develop your gift, deploy your gift. Fruit will testify, fruit will attract, fruit will finance. The money you are chasing is assigned to fruit you have not yet shipped. Eden had seed before salary. God told Adam to work the garden, to manage, to name. Management produced fruit. Fruit produced influence. Influence produced governance. The order got reversed by religion. We seek thrones without trees. Leaders plant, prune, produce, then the angels of opportunity gather the harvest. Practical now, because revelation must become regimen. In the next 72 hours, I want you to define one product or service that expresses your gift and serves a specific person with a specific problem. Write this down. Specific problem, specific person, specific package. If your gift is strategy, write a one-page diagnostic and offer a 30-minute audit to 3 decision makers. If your gift is design, produce a prototype for an unasked for improvement in a space you already touch and presented. If your gift is teaching, host a focused 4 or 5 minute class online this week titled With a Solution, Not a Topic, and invite the 10 people always asking you questions. If your gift is hospitality, design a repeatable experience that turns strangers into family in 90 minutes and do it for a neighbor. If they won't pay yet, no problem. Seed it, document it, measure it, and let fruit become your brochure. Write this down. Fruit is your marketing. Price yourself according to value, not your nerves. We don't charge that much. It's a cultural speed limit, not a kingdom policy. The laborer is worthy of his wages. Luke 10:7. Don't exploit. Don't undercharge out of fear. Present value, deliver value, measure value. If you're inside a company, deploy your gift there first. Be so fruitful they cannot promote without calling your name. If they overlook you, don't wither, document your outcomes and widen your orchard. If they finally fire you, your gift will escort you out smiling. If they hire you, your gift will negotiate terms your resume cannot pronounce. Say it with me. If they fire me, my gift goes with me. Again, my seed is my security. Remember the lion. He does not apply to be king. He acts according to design, and the jungle adjusts. You are not an accident. You are an assignment. Vision is more important than leadership because vision decides what fruit to grow, but fruit proves that you are leading. Write this down. Your work reveals your leader. Your job reveals your employer. Let your work speak. Let your gift roar. Let your fruit feed. And don't wait for perfect. Deploy now. Whatsoever your hand finds to do, do it with your might. Ecclesiastes 9:10. Stir the gift. Serve the gift. Send the gift into the world like an arrow aimed at a giant's forehead. By week's end, I want testimony, not theory. Leaders seal belief with behavior, and behavior leaves breadcrumbs called fruit. Feed your world and watch the room you were born for open on its own hinges. When the room opens on its own hinges, don't rush a chair, rush your function. Write this down. Leadership is a function served, not a seat occupied. Own your domain. We're about to offend your addiction to titles and heal your mission from malnutrition. Let me take you under the hood. Years ago, my car refused to start. Battery looked fine. Engine looked magnificent. Chrome gleaming. I turned the key silence. We pushed. We prayed. We tapped the hood like it had a demon. Finally, a mechanic arrives, pops the cover, and points to a little terminal wire, corroded, brittle, cost about $4. He replaced it, tightened it, and the entire vehicle roared like a lion late to lunch. Write this down. A $4 wire can shut a $50,000 system down. Who was the leader in that moment? Was it the engine with the horses? The battery with the charge? The driver with the keys? Answer this with me. Who's the leader? No one and everyone. Importance is contextual. Leadership is functional. The part that owns the outcome in the moment leads in that moment. This is why many organizations, churches, even families are loud but stalled, shiny engines, big batteries, impressive drivers, but the $4 wire is ignored because it doesn't have a title. The oil ring is overlooked because it doesn't sit on stage. The gasket never gets thanked. The system fails because function is dishonored. Write this down. Stop competing for titles. Start completing the mission through function. The mission doesn't care about your business card. It cares about the outcome. Scripture taught this long before Detroit built engines. For the body is not one member, but many, and the eye cannot say to the hand, I have no need of you. 1 Corinthians 12:14-21. The hand leads when grasping is required. The eye leads when seeing is required. The feet lead when moving is required. Who's the leader? No one and everyone. Paul continues, those members of the body which seem to be more feeble are necessary, necessary. That's Bible language for the $4 wire. Some of you are despising your necessity because nobody claps for it. Your absence reveals your authority. If the meeting collapses when you don't prepare the brief, you are a leader. If the culture decays when hospitality stays home, you are a leader. If the clients drift when follow-up is late, you are a leader. Importance is contextual lead where your gift makes you critical. Team clarity now. Write this down. Assign leadership by outcome, ownership, not rank. That means when we gather, we don't ask whose title is highest. We ask who owns this result. If the outcome is safety, the one accountable for safety leads that portion. Everyone else submits to that function until the outcome is secured. If the outcome is decision making, the person carrying the decision framework leads until choice is made. If the outcome is truth, the data owner leads until facts are clear. After that, leadership shifts to the next function. That's how high-performing teams move, like a single organism. Fluid leadership, fixed outcomes, mutual honor. Proverbs 24:6 says, in a multitude of counselors there is safety, but in a multitude of chiefs with no functional ownership, there is confusion. Let me provoke you, because some hearts still love thrones. Titles make insecure people feel safe. Outcomes make secure leaders feel responsible. Say it with me. I choose responsibility over recognition. Again, I choose responsibility over recognition. One more for the nervous system. I own outcomes, not thrones. Good. Now listen, this doesn't erase order, it clarifies it. Hebrews 13:17 talks about leaders who watch for your souls and that we submit to governance. We keep authority. We also insist that authority serve the mission by empowering function. Jesus rebuked the Gentile model where rulers lorded over and said, it shall not be so among you, but whoever would be great among you must be your servant. Matthew 20:25, 2:6. Servant of what? Of people by serving the outcome God desires for them. Greatness is functional stewardship. Write this down. Titles should identify accountability, not superiority. If your title outranks your fruit, you are a hazard to the mission. If your function outruns your title, keep serving until titles chase your fruit. We do not diminish honor, we redefine it. Romans 12:10, in honor, preferring one another. That means we celebrate the wire when the wire wins the day, the gasket when the gasket holds the pressure, the strategist when decisions loom, the intercessor when warfare rages, the executor when plans must land. Who's the leader? No one. And everyone. How do we practice this Monday morning? Make a leadership map by outcomes. Write this down and do it within 48 hours. List your top 5 non-negotiable outcomes for the next 90 days. Next to each, write the name of the owner, the one who will answer for that fruit. Under the owner, list the contributors and the cadence, what meets when, what delivers by which date. Publish the map. Then, in every meeting, announce the functional leader for the segment we are in. For the next 20 minutes, Sarah leads outcome. Client retention strategy. For the decision segment, Malik leads outcome. Choose platform by Friday. For the risk review, Priya leads outcome. Mitigation plan with owners. You will watch pride get nervous and clarity get courageous. Let me guard you with a warning and a promise. Warning, when function leads, egos will protest. They will say, who put you in charge? You will answer, the outcome did. Promise. When function leads, fruit multiplies. People relax into their domain. Meetings shorten. Respect rises. And the quiet wire in the corner gets promoted by necessity. That's kingdom order. Ephesians 4:16 says, the body grows and builds itself up in love as each part does its work. Not as each part seeks its wish, as each part does its work. Say it with me. Leadership is a function. I own my domain. Importance is contextual. I stop competing for titles. I start completing the mission. Again, with conviction. Who's the leader? No one. And everyone, let that settle into your bones. Because when you adopt this, jealousy loses employment, clarity gets a desk, and giants become lunch, not because one person is impressive, but because every part is obedient. And that, my friends, is how heaven governs. A king, a clear mission, and a body where each gift leads exactly where it is most needed. Now, go tune your engine, clean the terminals, honor the wire, announce your outcomes, and drive your assignment with a team that understands that thrones are temporary, but function feeds nations. We have tuned the engine and honored the wire. Now we must aim the vehicle. Write this down. Vision over visibility. If you get this wrong, you will have horsepower with no highway. You will have a crowd around your car and no destination in your GPS. Visibility without vision breeds drift. Say it with me, no more drift. Again, no more drift. My concern tonight is not how many eyes are on you, but how clear your eyes are on where God is taking you. Vision is more important than leadership. Write that in ink. Why? Because direction defines authority. If you don't know where you are going, you have no right to ask anyone to come with you. Proverbs 29:18 says, where there is no vision, chazon, revelation, divine sight, the people perish. Or one translation says, cast off restraint, no vision, no rails. No rails, no movement, just motion. Don't be impressed with power. Ask one question, where are we going? A bus with a loud driver is still lost if the route is wrong. A CEO with a charismatic voice is still dangerous if the destination is undefined. A pastor with a full calendar is still unfaithful if the mission is neglected. Write this down. Authority without direction is abuse waiting for victims. Jesus taught us to mistrust crowds for this very reason. He fed 5,000. And then he said, you seek me not because you saw the signs, but because you ate the loaves and were filled. John 6:26. He exposed their motive. Later, when he gave a hard saying, many left him, John 6:66. He didn't chase them. He turned to the 12 and asked, will you also go away? He called the crowd to find the core. At another time, he sent the multitudes away, Matthew 14:22, and went up the mountain to pray. Write this down. Jesus preferred purpose over popularity. That's why he warned, if the blind lead the blind, both shall fall into the ditch, Matthew 15:14. Don't be impressed with power. Ask, where are we going? The gate is narrow and the way is constricted that leads to life, and few find it, Matthew 7:14. Vision shrinks the crowd and strengthens the core. So let me audit your motives. Why do you want followers? For what? Do you want followers or fruit? Applause or assignment? Platform or outcome? By their fruits you will know them, Matthew 7:16. Not by their followers. Write this down. Vision measures in outcomes, not in optics. Optics are how it looks. Outcomes are what it changes. Heaven will ask for fruit, not for views. When you meet your future, it will not ask how many cheered. It will ask what changed because you obeyed. Visibility is addictive because it is easy to count. Vision is holy because it is costly to carry. Visibility feeds ego. Vision feeds nations. Visibility is why people manufacture controversies to trend. Vision is why leaders withdraw to pray and return with clarity. Visibility makes you chase microphones. Vision makes you pick up a towel. Visibility says, notice me. Vision says, eat this fruit. Write this down. The crowd celebrates moments. The core commits to mission. Here is how we realign, practical and precise. Write a one-sentence vision for your gift service to humanity. One sentence, not a paragraph, not poetry, precision. Use this pattern. I serve who, by what gift, action, so that measurable transformation in domain, context. Examples. I serve first-time founders by converting chaos into 9 zero-day execution plans so that viable products ship on schedule. I serve high school seniors by translating complex science into simple experiments so that curiosity becomes college-ready competence. I serve single mothers by building community systems that turn exhaustion into shared strength so that children grow in stable routines. I serve mid-level managers by designing decision frameworks so that meetings end with accountable outcomes. Your sentence is a compass. Without it, you are a weather vane spinning with every wind of attention. Now, once you write it, test it with scripture and assignment. Does it align with God's image, mandate, dominion through service? Genesis 1:26, 1 Peter 4:10. Can you see fruit, not fame, in the sentence? Would you do it if nobody clapped, only the problem got smaller? If yes, that's vision. If your heart worries, will people like this? That's visibility talking. Tell it to sit down. Say it with me. Vision leads, visibility follows. Again, vision leads, visibility follows. Then, move from crowd to core. Publish your sentence to the few who will hold you accountable, not to the masses who will dilute it with opinions. Jesus had multitudes, then 70, then 12, then 3, then 1, levels. Your core is the group that asks you, how did this week's actions advance your sentence, not how many liked your post. Write this down. Protect your vision from the opinions of the unassigned. The unassigned are not evil. They are simply not responsible for your outcome. Structure your calendar by vision, not by invitations. If it fits the sentence, say yes. If it flatters you but fractures focus, say no. He set his face like flint, Isaiah 50-7. Luke 9:51 says Jesus steadfastly set his face to go to Jerusalem. That's focus. Make a list of activities you will stop this month because they feed visibility but starve vision. Replace them with 3 weekly actions that move fruit into the world. Document outcomes, measure change, let data protect destiny. If the event offers a stage but not an outcome aligned with your sentence, send someone else or send a polite decline. You're not rude. You're ruled by vision. Don't be impressed with power. Ask one question: where are we going? Ask it of every leader you follow, every project you join, every meeting you attend, every post you publish. Where are we going? If the answer is vague with no fruit attached, conserve your energy. Leaders are custodians of energy. Write this down. Vision conserves energy for assignment. Visibility consumes energy for applause. Say it with me. I choose core over crowd. I choose fruit over followers. I choose assignment over applause. My sentence governs my schedule. Again, louder. My sentence governs my schedule. Good. Before midnight, craft your one sentence. Share it with your core. Put it at the top of your planner. Read it every morning and every meeting. Ask your team to write theirs. Link sentences to outcomes. Because when vision leads, you stop chasing crowds and start attracting the right ones, the ones assigned to build with you, to buy from you, to be changed by you. And when the right ones arrive, giants become lunch, not because you are noisy, but because your mission is nourished, your steps are ordered, and your lion hunts with purpose. We have tuned the engine and honored the wire. Now we must program the driver. Write this down. Your heart is your hard drive. Your mouth is the keyboard. Your habits are the software updates. Proverbs 23:7 says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Not as a man thinketh in his heart. The Hebrew word is lev, the subconscious center, the autopilot. If we don't reprogram the heart, the old limits will repossess the wheel. This is not theory. This is regimen. Belief becomes biology through repeated confession, curated inputs, and daily courageous acts. Say it with me. Belief becomes biology. One more time so your nervous system hears you. Belief becomes biology. First, the confession protocol. Joshua 1-8 gives us the installation manual. This book of the law shall not depart out of your mouth, but you shall meditate in it day and night. The word meditate there is hagamutter, murmur, chew. God did not say keep it in your head. He said keep it in your mouth day and night. Write this down. Mouths program hearts. Hearts drive life. So morning and evening, I want a 2-minute decree that tells your day who's in charge and tucks your night under assignment. Stand by your mirror at dawn, hand on your chest, and say it with me. The world needs me. I am not an accident. I am an assignment. I am made in the image of God to exercise dominion. My attitude governs my outcomes. I refuse toleration. I enforce standards. My gift makes room for me. I deploy. I don't just employ. Giants are lunch. Who's the leader? No one and everyone. I own my domain. Now, at night, before you sleep, whisper the same creed and add this line. I review my fruit and I rest in my assignment. Proverbs 18:21 says, death and life are in the power of the tongue. You have been letting your mood draft your scripts. Now you will make your script draft your mood. Second, audit your inputs. Protect the gates. Proverbs 4:23 commands, keep your heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. The gates are your eyes, your ears, and your company. Write this down. Repetition engraves belief. Faith comes by hearing, Romans 10:17, and so does fear. Curate your hearing. For the next 30 days, I want a 3-to-1 ratio, 3 units of assignment-aligned content for every 1 unit of entertainment. Replace morning scroll with Psalm 8 and Genesis 1:26, read them out loud. Replace gossip podcasts with biographies of problem solvers. Unfollow what flatters your insecurity. Follow what feeds your assignment. Turn your commute into a mobile university. At night, set a 60-minute digital sunset phone down, mind up, read Proverbs, review your outcomes, and plan tomorrow's courageous act. Write this down. If you don't set a diet for your mind, culture will feed you junk and invoice your destiny. Third, design your environment, because your environment is louder than your intentions. God told Israel, you shall write them upon the posts of your house and on your gates. Deuteronomy 6-9. Why? Because walls talk. Build a talking wall. Place visual anchors where your eyes linger. I want a lion icon where you wake, a photo, a statue, a screensaver. When your eyes report size, your belief will remember lunch. Put a speedometer image with the needle past 170 where you plan your Autobahn moment must be permanent. No more cultural speed limits on your desk. And write your assignment statement in 10 words or less on your mirror and at your workstation. Example, I build leaders who build systems that feed cities. Keep a 3x5 card in your pocket that says you are not an accident. You are an assignment. Touch it every time fear asks for ID. Rename your alarms with decrees. 6 a.m. roar, don't snooze. 12:30 p.m. Giants for lunch. 9:30 p.m. review fruit, reset standards. Write this down. Vision must be visible. Vision is more important than leadership because it tells the leader what to become. Fourth, practice daily micro courage. Hebrews 5:14 says, our senses are exercised by reason of use. Courage is a muscle. You cannot pray it into strength. You must rep it into strength. Every day, one uncomfortable act that contradicts your old limit. Just one. Before 10 a.m., if possible, early wins wire the day. Call the client and ask for value according to fruit, not nerves. Submit the proposal you have delayed for a month. Lead the segment in the meeting with clarity and a standard. Publish the 4 or 5-minute teaching that solves a real problem. Walk into the gym for 15 minutes, even if your mind says an hour or nothing. 15 is a revolution against excuses. Have the boundary conversation you've rehearsed in your head for a year. Cancel the subscription that anesthetizes your edge. Send the email that sets the bar. Write this down. Tiny hinges swing big doors. Keep a line log date, courageous act, outcome, and one lesson. Review it weekly. That log will become your testimony binder. What did Jesus tell the man with the withered hand? Stretch forth your hand. Mark 3-5. Stretched apart you hide. Do it daily until stretching becomes your default. Fifth, form an accountability circle. 3 to 5 people who treat your gift as a necessity, not a novelty. Iron sharpens iron. Proverbs 27-17. Walk with the wise and you will be wise. A companion of fools will suffer harm. Proverbs 13:20. Choose builders, not talkers. Choose people who ask, where is the fruit? Not how famous did you feel? Here are the rules. We are confidential, but confrontational. We measure outcomes, not emotions. We celebrate obedience, not optics. Daily, send a 3-point check to the group. Confession done. Input protected. Courage completed. Weekly, 30 minutes on a scoreboard. Top 3 outcomes. What moved, what stuck, what standard rose. James 5:16 says, confess your faults one to another and pray one for another that you may be healed. Some of you don't need deliverance. You need disclosure to disciplined friends who will not let your standard sag. Ecclesiastes 4:9-10 reminds us, 2 are better than 1, for if they fall, the one will lift up his fellow. Get lifters who won't let you lie to yourself politely. Let me add a surgical warning. Your phone is either a pulpit or a portal. Sanctify it. Move the apps that drain you to a hidden screen and rename them with what they steal, not what they sell. Turn notifications off for noise and on for purpose. Replace your lock screen with your assignment statement. Set do not disturb for your thinking hours. Write this down. Schedule is a moral document. It reveals what you worship. If your calendar does not honor your assignment, you are committing idolatry by appointment. Now, let me make you speak again because Myles program hearts. Say it loud. The world needs me. Again, the world needs me. I am not an accident. I am an assignment. I was created to lead and designed to dominate. My attitude governs my outcomes. I refuse toleration. I deploy my gift. Giants are lunch. Who's the leader? No one. And everyone. Belief becomes biology in my body, my calendar, and my culture. Finally, set this in motion tonight. Write your creed on a card. Place your lion where you wake. Print the speedometer and tape it to your desk. Craft your 10-word assignment and mirror it. Curate tomorrow's inputs before you sleep. Choose 1 micro courage for the morning. Text 3 people and invite them into your circle with the rules attached. Romans 12:2 commands, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Renewing is continuous. Transformation is cumulative. You don't drift into dominion. You decree, design, and do your way into it. When your mouth, your media, your mirrors, your minutes, and your mates align, your belief will migrate from sermon to cells, from talk to tissue. Then, like the lion, you won't try to be bold. You will be yourself and the jungle will adjust. Stand with me right where you are because this is not theory now. This is decree. Lift your head, square your shoulders, and say it with me. I am deployed. My belief turns giants into lunch. Louder. My belief turns giants into lunch. Again. For the rooms that have been waiting on you, I am deployed. Now listen to me. Leadership is sealed by behavior, not by brochures. James said, show me your faith without your works, and I will show you my faith by my works. James 2:18. Write this down. Leaders seal belief with behavior. Deploy now and let fruit testify. Here is your 7 2-hour commissioning. Not next month. Not when you feel led. Now, write this down. 1 elephant you will pursue. 1 speed limit you will test. 1 function you will lead. First, the elephant. Name it specifically. Is it the overdue proposal you've been nursing for 6 months? The $8,400 debt hanging over your house? The difficult conversation you keep avoiding? David did not say some giant. He said, this uncircumcised Philistine, 1 Samuel 17:26, and then this day the Lord will deliver you into my hand, V46. Choose one elephant, write its name, put a date next to it this week. Then break the first bite into a 90-minute block within the next 24 hours, not a wish, a scheduled hunt. Say it with me, I eat elephants by appointment. Second, the speed limit. What inherited ceiling has been governing your pace, your price, your output, your ask? Write this down. Test one limit in the next 72 hours. If your cultural cap says don't charge more than 500, test 1,500 with value to match. If your industry average is 2 weeks to deliver, ship a minimum viable version in 2 days. If your calendar says 10 outreach calls a week, do 30 in a day. If your mind says, I can only teach for free, invoice one-page session at a modest rate and deliver outrageous fruit, this is your Audubon moment. You don't live there every day, but you need to know that your engine doesn't die at 170. Be strong and courageous, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. Joshua 1-9. Fear is not a fact, it's a forecast you don't have to obey. Third, the function. Where will you lead by outcome, not by title in the next 72 hours? Choose one meeting, one project, one family moment, and announce, I own this result. Write this down. Assign yourself to an outcome. If the outcome is clarity for a decision, you lead the decision framework. If the outcome is client retention, you lead the follow-up cadence for the week. If the outcome is peace at home, you lead the dinner table order and conversation. Who's the leader? No one and everyone. In your domain, for that outcome, you are everyone. Now, value map. Fruit must have eaters. Write this down. Define the fruit you will deliver and who must taste it first. What fruit will the elephant yield this week? Is it a delivered draft? An accepted payment plan? A reconciled relationship? A shipped prototype? A book consultation? Describe it precisely. Not better. Fruit has weight and sweetness. It can be counted and tasted. Then choose your first tasters, your core, not the crowd. 3 names. The manager who benefits, the client who's been waiting, the mentor who will speak truth, deliver the fruit to them first, and ask for a bite in front of you. Proverbs 27:6 says, faithful are the wounds of a friend. Invite accurate feedback, not applause. Write this down. Feedback is fertilizer when you ask for it on purpose. Resource directive. Great intentions starve without scheduled nourishment. Write this down. 2 daily blocks. Study and ship. For the next 7 days, schedule a 4 or 5 minute study block for skill sharpening in your core gift. Non-negotiable. Guard it like a court date. Daniel kneeled upon his knees 3 times a day and prayed. Daniel 6:10. If Daniel could schedule lions, you can schedule learning. Then schedule a 90-minute ship block to execute no meetings, no scrolling, no editing, your ego. Produce deliverables. Jesus rose a great while before day and went to a solitary place to pray. Mark 1:35. If the Son of God scheduled his source, you must schedule your service. Put both blocks in your calendar now. Say it with me. I study to sharpen, I ship to serve. Follow through. Fruit must be measured, not imagined. Write this down. Invite feedback. Measure fruit. Adjust function, not identity. After each ship, send a short survey or ask 3 direct questions. What worked? What's missing? What's next? Capture data responses, time saved, revenue generated, problems resolved, testimonies obtained. If results fall short, you adjust the function, your method, your packaging, your timing, not your identity. Genesis 1:26 remains. Let us make man in our image and let them have dominion. Dominion is your design. Methods are your tools. Do not confuse a dull axe with a flawed tree. Ecclesiastes 10:10 says, if the axe is dull and its edge unsharpened, More strength is needed, but skill will bring success. Sharpen, do not surrender. I must speak to your fear one more time. The Red Sea did not part while Israel held a committee meeting. God said to Moses, why cry to me? Tell the children of Israel to go forward. Exodus 14:15. Write this down. Movement is proof of belief. So I am commanding a public move. Tonight, send a message to your core with your 7 2-hour plan. The elephant you will pursue, the limit you will test, the function you will lead, the 2 daily blocks, and the first tasters of your fruit. Attach the scheduled times. Ask them to hold you accountable. Do not post it to the masses. Publish it to the responsible. Vision over visibility. Before we close, put your hand on your chest and declare the covenant again. Say it with me. I am deployed. My belief turns giants into lunch. My gift makes room for me. My fruit will testify. I own outcomes, not thrones. I refuse tolerated limits. I move now. Good. Now speak to your elephant by name like David did to Goliath. Say this day, and then finish the sentence with your outcome. This day, the first draft is delivered. This day, the invoice is sent. This day, the apology is spoken. Faith speaks, then steps. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Philippians 4:13. Not through adrenaline, through Christ. Some of you will be tempted to delay, to polish the sword instead of swinging it. Write this down. Excellence is finishing on time with value, not starting perfect with excuses. Ship, then learn, then ship again. By the end of 7 days, collect your evidence, emails, receipts, testimonies, before and after pictures. Place them in a folder called fruit. When doubt tries to negotiate, open the folder. Let fruit preach. Jesus said, by their fruits you will know them, Matthew 7:16. Not by their feelings, not by their followers, by their fruits. Finally, a blessing and a charge. Psalm 144:1 says, blessed be the Lord my strength, which teaches my hands to war and my fingers to fight. May your hands be trained this week for strategic war and your fingers for precise work. May your study sharpen your edge, your shipping feed your world, your feedback refine your method, and your courage embarrass your fear. You are not an accident. You are an assignment. The lion is not the largest, the fastest, or the strongest, but his belief governs the jungle. Let yours govern your week. Go now, deploy, announce your outcomes, keep your blocks, feed your first tasters, measure your fruit, adjust your function. Do not touch your identity. And when we gather again, we won't bring theories. We will bring testimonies, and giants grilled and served will be our lunch.